Quick move. Oh my gosh, it gets Escobar.
For third, he'll dive in. No!
Nice show. This is not his first time.
Yeah.
I've seen that here in Detroit.
Not a good slide by Robert and Luis. No.
Professional sports are played by professionals, but sometimes even experts have their off days. And this happens in all professional sports, including Major League Baseball. In this video, we'll be checking out some of the most embarrassing moments ever in MLB. You'll cringe, laugh, and sometimes be totally shocked by how embarrassing some players and even franchises can be. But we can promise you one thing, you will be entertained. Sammy Sosa's corked bat. Sammy Sosa has courted controversy throughout his career. In 2010, a New York Times article named him as one of 100 players to test for performance-enhancing drugs during spring training in 2003. That was a pretty interesting article, because 2003 was the same year that Sosa was busted for using a corked bat. It was Tuesday night, June 3rd, 2003, in a game against the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Sosa was playing for the Chicago Cubs and was at the plate in the first inning with runners on second and third. Sosa then hit a grounder to second base, and his bat shattered in the process.
So the lumber, they're looking to see what's in the bat, and they want to see if what's in the bat is really the bat, or if there's anything in there that...
At first, nobody thought anything about it. It's not so strange to shatter a bat after all. However, one of the umpires picked up Sosa's shattered bat and found bits of cork in it. The umpires immediately ejected Sosa from the game. That's not all. They also seized all his bats and checked to see if they were corked. Interestingly, they weren't. According to Sosa, it was all an honest mistake, and he mistakenly used the bat he'd often used for training to bat. The fact that none of his other bats were corked seems to back up this theory, but others say that Sosa had merely marked the bat. What do you think? Do you think Sosa was being clever, or was it just an honest mistake? Milton Bradley. Milton Bradley is popular for losing his temper on the field, but that's not the only thing he loses. Sometimes he loses face as well. The worst mistakes you can make on the field are the ones that betray your lack of attention to the game. And that's precisely the sort of mistake that our friend Milton Bradley made in June of 2009 when the Chicago Cubs played against the Minnesota Twins. It was the 8th inning of the game, and there were runners on first and third with one out. Twins catcher Joe Mauer hit a deep fly ball to Bradley. Our man Bradley caught the ball, and thinking it was the third out of the inning, flipped the ball into the stands and started walking back to the dugout. However, he soon realized that he had made a vital mistake. There was only one out at the time, and the runner on the third was allowed to score on the base. The moment he realized his mistake, you could see the embarrassment flash all over his face.
And that allows, not only Puntos was going to score either way on a sac fly, but it allows Harris to go all the way to the third.
One wonders if his teammates would rage on him as badly as he would have raged on them if they'd made such a schoolboy error. Hernandez crapped his pants. This embarrassing moment doesn't have a video, so you may have to imagine it yourself. Or wait, don't imagine it. Seriously, don't. Just listen to us tell you about it and then forget about it. Recently, the Red Sox Twitter account was posting about the team's embarrassing moments for a social media segment, and Hernandez was asked what the most embarrassing moment in a game for him was. And that's when he started telling a story that would shock everyone. Apparently in 2020 during the playoffs, Hernandez had a tooth infection and was taking some drugs for it. Unfortunately, the drugs had the side effects of diarrhea. During the game, the team got a big out in a big situation, and Hernandez got really excited. He got so excited that he thought that he had farted, so he ran straight to the bathroom and completely blasted the toilet.
I was and I thought I farted. I went out to lead off the inning. I was struck out in 3 pitches. When I went in the dugout, I went straight to the bathroom, put my pants down, completely started.
It turns out that Hernandez had been expecting a fart, but it was crap. He had crapped his pants during a playoffs game, and nobody knew about it until he told us about it. Imagine the embarrassment if that had gotten out during the game. Thankfully, the Dodgers went on to win the World Series that year, so maybe it was really a crap of luck. Edmundo Sosa's slide of doom. It was a regular Friday on the diamond. At least this is what everyone initially thought. Our main character, Sosa, was on the path to glory. Life had other plans for him, though. On the 9th of July, 2021, in a game against the Chicago Cubs, the Cardinals infielder pulled off a dramatic slide into second base. Though one could say he accomplished this slide, he didn't quite make it to second base in one piece. In an attempt to show off, Sosa showed us all a bit more than expected, you see. As he slid into second base, something best hinted to as a cheeky experience unfolded. Now, wardrobe malfunctions are nothing new in the world of sports. We've seen ripped knees and minor problems with uniforms. Sosa, however, took this to a whole new level. This was the malfunction that other malfunctions would be terrified of. He revealed not just a ripped pair of pants, but an impressive scrape. One could call it a battle scar from that daring slide.
I'm going to call it a wardrobe malfunction. Thank goodness. As long as you're okay. Ouch.
Edmundo Sosa is a man loved by many and deserving of recognition in the spotlight for his incredible prowess. He was caught in a spotlight for sure, but perhaps not one like the type anyone saw coming. Adam Eaton's slide of shame. Next up on shameful slides in Major League Baseball, we have none other than Eaton. With Adam Eaton now as World Series champion, one would think we wouldn't find any dirt on him. Oh well, one could say that this man managed to do that all by himself. In 2018, Chicago White Sox's Adam Eaton attempted to slide into home plate. This attempt was doomed to fail from the start as he dove headfirst. He dove headfirst right across the infield. Seemingly noticing his mistake mid-dive, he stretches out his arms to perhaps cushion his fall. Gravity just wasn't having it. Eaton slid right across the gritty infield, grazing his arms, his helmet popping off his head in the process, to allow his head be meshed into the floor properly, face planting into the dirt well before reaching the plate. As a major league player, one would think there are skills with basic knowledge these players should possess. Mid-game, Eaton probably remembered the basic knowledge of a slide, determinedly said a big no, then executed a slide that seemed more like a botched dive, leaving him sprawled out in the dirt just inches away from home plate. This triumphant moment was turned into an unforgettable blooper, leaving everyone staring with a mixture of disbelief, concern, and amusement. Tim Anderson Brawl. Next cringe moment on our list has more drama in it than your favorite soap opera. Tim Anderson of the Chicago White Sox is the guy being dealt the end of the short stick here at a game just last week, August 2023. However, note that he was Mr. Cool shortstop a few moments ago. And then there's Jose Ramirez, the Cleveland Guardians' third baseman, at a game packing more heat than Starbucks on a weekday morning. The brawl took place during the 6th inning of Chicago's 7-4 win, when Ramirez smacked the ball so hard it practically orbited Jupiter. Then he tries to slide into second, going all head first, no looking back. Ramirez slid into second head first between Anderson's legs as Anderson covered the base. Anderson caught that ball like his life depended on it, with Ramirez's head making contact with Anderson's groin during the slide. The two exchanged words as Ramirez stood up. Then chaos ensued. Ramirez gets up from his interesting position, points his finger at Anderson's face with drama level at 100%, like a villain from a cartoon. Anderson? He's not having any of that. He attempts to shove Ramirez like a shopping cart, then takes a swing, misses, and gets hit square in the jaw by Ramirez's right hook. Anderson lands on his behind on national television. One hilarity in the midst of this chaos is the announcer channeling his inner WWE commentator with, "Down goes Anderson! Down goes Anderson!"
Fighting! They're swinging! Down goes Anderson! Down goes Anderson!
After this game, MLB has to send some players off to the World Boxing Association for sure. If Anderson was not embarrassed with his rear touching the ground on live TV, he'd definitely be embarrassed after this announcer screamed aloud what everyone could see ever so clearly. It's quite unsure who should feel more embarrassment, as both Anderson and Ramirez, even with his jaw-locking victory, got ejections right after their squabble. Jon Seguras Fail. Jon Segura, Phillies' second baseman, recently pulled off one funny move. In this game, the Phillies are down 4. One against the Nationals, 6th inning, and Segura's in the spotlight, of course. Nats slugger Juan Soto hits a simple single to center field. And in this situation, one would think Segura would chase this ball down. To be fair, he did chase it down. Everyone just didn't see what he had in store for us. Even Segura himself probably didn't see what he had in store, it'll seem. It really looks like he wasn't thinking. In a move that belongs in a blooper mashup, Segura decides to toss his glove at the ball. A glove toss, an epic violation. You should see him do it. Like said glove had magical powers to freeze the ball in its tracks. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Instead, the glove fluttered like a wounded bird. When a fielder throws his glove at a batted ball, it is a violation of baseball rule, 5.064C, the detached equipment rule. If the glove does not make contact with the ball, there is no penalty. However, if the glove makes contact, all runners, including the batter runner, are awarded 3 bases. Basically, Segura failed embarrassingly at an attempt to further embarrass himself. Whoops! Now don't get me wrong, Segura's got skills, but this glove toss, this right here,
now what happens if he hits the ball?
it's like a stain that won't fade. And guess what? The Phillies went down 5, one against the Nationals, and that glove toss was like the cherry on top of the embarrassment sundae. The entire thing just has one cringing with a look of, did that really just happen? Max Muncy's walk-off homer in the 18th inning. Lastly, and as an honorable mention, this game was phenomenal. During the 2018 World Series between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Boston Red Sox, Game 3 went into an astonishing 18 innings. That took about 7 hours and 20 minutes. In the bottom of the 18th inning, with the game tied, Max Muncy of the Dodgers stepped up to the plate. Muncy swung and hit a walk-off home run that sailed just over the left field fence. This move ended the longest game in World Series history. The embarrassing part? The Red Sox's pitcher, Nathan Eovaldi, threw a crazy 97 pitches in relief during the game. Eovaldi pitched, and Eovaldi pitched hard. As the ball cleared the fence, Eovaldi's exhausted expression couldn't be one short of disbelief. Imagine working so obviously hard for that one thing without quite getting it. Yikes. Anyway, that's it for now. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and smash the like buttons. Goodbye, and stay safe.